Hello friends, how are you all? Welcome back to our channel Amazing Stories for All. So as we all know Cinderella's story and which was also quite interesting, but today the story which we are going to listen is slight different from Cinderella's previous story. So our today's story's name is Cinderella in the Parallel Universe. Cinderella Part 2. Once upon a time, a girl named Cinderella lived with her stepmother and two stepbrothers. Poor Cinderella had to work hard all day long so the others could rest. It was she who had to wake up each morning when it was still dark and cold to start the fire. It was she who cooked the meals. It was she who kept the fire going. The poor girl could not stay clean from all the ashes and cinders by the fire. What a mess! Her two stepbrothers laughed. And that is why they call her Cinderella. One day, big news came to town. The king and the queen were going to have a ball. It was the time for the prince to find a bride, so all the young ladies in the land were invited to come. They all were filled with joy. They would wear their most beautiful dresses and fix their hair extra nice. Maybe the prince would like them. At Cinderella's house, she now had extra work to do. She had to make two brand new clothes for her step-brothers. Faster! Shouted one step-brother. You call that a dress? Screamed the other. Oh dear, said Cinderella. Where can I? The stepmother marched into the room. It's okay, my dear. Let me help you out. You must be tired. Well, said Cinderella. Thank you so much, Mom. Also, I don't have time to make my own dress for the ball. You! Yelled the step-brother. Who said you were going to the ball? What a laugh, said one step-brother. Such a mess! They pointed at Cinderella. All of them laughed. Cinderella said to herself, when they look at me, maybe see a mess, but I'm not that way, and if I could, I would go to the ball. Soon the time came for the stepmother and the stepbrothers to leave for the big party. Their fine carriage came to the door. The stepbrothers hopped inside, but Cinderella's stepmom did not go and continued to pray for Cinderella. Goodbye, said Cinderella. Have a good time. But her stepbrothers did not turn around to see her. Oh me, said Cinderella sadly. The carriage rode down the street. She said aloud, I wish I could go to the ball too. All of a sudden, in front of her was a fairy who told Cinderella that the Almighty has sent me here just because of your mom. She has been continuously praying for you since a long time, even if she's your stepmother, but she loves you like her real daughter, said the fairy. Oh my, said Cinderella. I know your wish, and I have come to grant it. But, said Cinderella, my wish is impossible. Excuse me, said the fairy in huff. Did I not just show up out of thin air? Yes, you did, said Cinderella. Then let me be the one to say what is possible or not. Well, I think you know I want to go to the ball too. She looked down at her dirty clothes. But look at me. You look a bit of a mess, child, said the fairy. Even if I had something nice to wear, said the girl, I would have no way to get there. Oh, my dear, all of that is possible, said the fairy. With that, she tapped her wand on Cinderella's head. At once, Cinderella was all clean. She was dressed in a beautiful, shining pink gown. Her hair was set up high on her head, inside a silver band. This is wonderful, said Cinderella. Who said I was done? Said the fairy. She tapped her wand again. At once, a beautiful Lamborghini came to be with a driver. Am I dreaming? Said Cinderella, looking around herself. It is as real can be, said the fairy. But there is one thing you must know. What is that? All of this lasts only to midnight. Tonight, at the stroke of midnight, it will all be over. Everything will go back to how it was before. Then I must be sure to leave the ball before midnight, said Cinderella. Good idea, said the fairy. She stepped back. My work is done. And with that, the fairy was gone. Cinderella looked around her. Did that even happen? But there she stood in a fine gown and with a silver band in her hair. And there were her driver in her Lamborghini before her, waiting. She called her mom and then stepped into the car, and they were off. Over the ball, the prince did not know what to think. The prince had met many of the young women, yet after he said hello one by one, he could find nothing more to say. Look! Someone pointed to the front door. Who is that? All the heads turned. Who was that lovely maiden stepping down the stairs? She held her head tall and looked as if she belonged. But no one knew her. There's something about her, said the prince to himself. I will ask her to dance. And he walked over to Cinderella. Have we met? Said the prince. I'm pleased to meet you now, said Cinderella with a bow. I feel as if I know you, said the prince. But of course that is impossible. Many things are possible, said Cinderella, if you wish them to be true. The prince felt a leap in his heart. He and Cinderella danced. When the song was over, they danced again and yet again. Soon the other maidens at the ball grew jealous. Why is he dancing all the time with her? They said. How rude! But all the prince could see was Cinderella. They laughed and talked, and they danced some more. In fact, they danced for so long that Cinderella did not see the clock. Dong, said the clock. Cinderella looked up. Dong went the clock again. She looked up again. Oh my, she cried out. It's almost midnight. Dong rung the clock. Why does that matter? Said the prince. Dong called the clock. I must go, said Cinderella. Dong went the clock. But we just met, said the prince. Why leave now? Dong rung the clock. I must go, said Cinderella. But it was too late. Dong, said the clock. I cannot hear you, said the prince. The clock is too loud. Dong, rung the clock. Oh no, what do I do now? It's too late, said Cinderella. Dong went the clock. A bright light came, and Cinderella was transformed to her old look again. Oh dear, she said. Everyone in the ball was shocked and started talking about Cinderella. But the prince did not judge Cinderella just by her looks. He loved the way she talked. Also now the prince was in love with her sweet and innocent face. Dong, said the clock. Cinderella was filled with tears and was going to run, but the prince stopped her and said, Please wait a moment. Look, Cinderella, anyone's beauty is not just defined by their good looks. I know that looks do matter, but what matters the most is a person's good character and behavior. Also, there is a saying that the outer beauty turns the head, but the inner beauty turns the heart. Cinderella was so happy and cried tears of joy. And so, Cinderella and the prince were married, and they lived happily ever after. Hope you liked our video. If you did, please make sure that you like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.